Daniel Boardman. He's a senior correspondent with the National Telegraph, joins us from Toronto. And Daniel, Nijjar's son says his father held weekly meetings with the CSIS, the Canadian intelligence agencies, months before he was killed. Is that normal? Is that odd that Canadian intelligence agencies were meeting a plumber so frequently?
Well, I mean, no, it's not normal. I don't have meetings with CSIS every week. I don't think I ever have had CSIS agents come to my house, but a lot of this can kind of be explained through like a bit of an Occam's razor, like, of course that kind of happened. Because, yes, do I believe that Hardeep Singh Nijjar was getting lots of death threats and heat on him? I can believe that. Why can I believe that? Because I can see a video of him calling for the death of Hindus, violent separatism, and supporting suicide bombings. So if you're, making video content as a content creator or plumber, and your content is, I support suicide bombings and violence against this particular group of people, some people in that group you're calling for violence against are going to call for violence against you. Now, none of this is good. None of us should be calling for violence. Hindus shouldn't be threatening Sikhs. Sikhs shouldn't be threatening Hindus. Khalistanis this. We none of us want this. But it could make sense how someone who went around was, suspected by the Vancouver Sun in 2016 of running a potential terrorist training camp, videos of AK-47s, videos of dangerous speeches, of course that's going to rub some people the wrong way. Right. And then you add into the fact that there's a lot of inter-violence between the Khalistani gangs, so no wonder his, life could have potentially been under threat. Now,
be that as it may, Daniel, why would agencies be meeting him so frequently and no follow-up action be taken or at least be known in public domain? So, for example, one meeting, according to The Sun, was held on the 17th of June. That's one day before Nijjar was killed. And the other was scheduled for the 20th of June. Now, does this indicate he was either an informer for the intelligence agencies or the agencies were seeking information?
I mean, it's impossible to know. I wasn't there in the room. It's a complicated situation, and it's one of those, you can think of 10 different things being possible. And, I can understand the frustration of Indians and also Canadians. Like, why are so many resources going to protect these guys who are so clearly a problem? And why are we not trying to protect the people they're threatening? More like the division of resources in terms of our intelligence assets are questionable. I will grant you that. It's impossible to know. We're probably never gonna know the content of these meetings. But as I said, there's sort of an Occam's razor to this, which is, he's on video calling for violence and death against a particular ethnic group.
Yes.
Of course he'd face some blowback for that. Like, we can all understand, you're on video supporting a suicide bombing. People aren't going to be happy. So, how seriously do our intelligence agencies take the Khalistani threat? How much do they understand the Khalistani threat? How much political will is there to do something about the Khalistani threat? All of those questions are prominent in the minds of a lot of Canadians because...
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad at least those questions are being asked in Canada, because if there was a threat, and taking that theory forward, that there was a threat to Nijjar's life, and if intelligence agencies were aware of it, would they not have deployed the police to protect him? Would they not have been giving him personal security detail? Something, it just seems, doesn't add up, that they're meeting him frequently, but... And I want to understand from you, since you're reporting the story, was any visible security provided to him on ground?
That we don't know. Also, you have to keep in mind this is Canada, not America. So here's a side story that might give you a bit of an insight into Canadian security approaches. When the Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship in 2019, there was a big parade in Toronto. Justin Trudeau was there, the Premier was there, he was making a speech on stage. During that, there was an actual gang shooting like a block away, gunshots going off. And it's not like RCMP and CSIS rushed the stage and pulled the Prime Minister off, and we went to DEFCON 1, and this massive security apparatus went into functioning state. Everyone was kind of just standing around, twirling their thumbs in the air. So this is like the level of like competence we have when guarding the literal Prime Minister when there's active shooting within the vicinity. So the incompetence of the Canadian police among matters of extremism and like this, it's unfortunately nothing new in the last 10 years with the sort of depolicing strategy, this sort of police cause crime, not stop crime mentality, where we're just, you know, we're beating our police officers into the ground and pushing them out of duty. And you also have a culture where like police feel like, hey, if I step in the middle of some Khalistani gang violence between these people, and you know, I end up shooting one of the gang members as I got shot at, like he knows that he'll be on the CBC as like the next Derek Chauvin, and you know, he's just murdered an innocent person. So I think there's a large factor like that where a lot of, I think, police officers in Canada wouldn't want to do a dirty, complicated job, because even if they do it well, there is no reward, there's no win for them there. So,
but are the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the investigators in this case, or the intelligence agencies, the CSIS, are they expected to clarify if what Nijjar's son says is true, that Hardeep Nijjar feared for his life, that he had been sensitized about a threat to his life? Would these agencies be questioned? What action did they take on ground or didn't take on ground?
Questions will be coming, but it's Canada, so you won't get answers to those questions for like 3-4 years. They're going to try and bury it and release this information. It will become public, but they're going to want to release it at a time when we've mostly forgotten the story, and it can all just kind of go into the ether and be like, oh, we might have got some things wrong 3-4 years ago. Oopsie doodles. That's kind of the way you know, I see Canada handling this in our current environment.